Khan. All right, Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glorification to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Umarak Yahushua. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, which the world calls God, and Yahushua is the name of His only begotten Son, who the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give a strong shalom to all the mighty men that's going out there, they're laboring. They're presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice. They're doing all they can to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Not only that, they're enduring the elements, the 100-degree weathers, the freezing below colds, and everything that's trying to hinder the work of the Most High. Shalom, shalom. I want to give another strong shalom to Almighty Aqua, the sisters that are at home, but they're reverencing their husbands, and the unmarried sisters as well, being teachers of good things, tender, delicate, and on fire for the Most High God. Shalom, shalom. Last but not least, I want to give another strong shalom to all the mighty teenagers and children that's in this truth, doing all they can to make their calling and election sure in the last days. By the topic of this live stream, right, it's Hotseat Q&A Volume 3, right? So this is a continuation, a series through the Spirit, maybe, do up to five series of taking nothing but questions that our people may have on their mind. They might have read something through the Spirit, don't understand it. They might have had questions in a dream. It formulated to them. You want to be able to open up this platform because a lot of our people have questions and they might lack understanding. All right. And it's our job, as the servants of the Lord, to give who might have the understanding, to give the knowledge to the people freely. All right. And shalom to everybody that will tune in to the live stream. All right. Princess, Two-Way King, shalom. All right. Got Sauce, shalom, King. Don Israel, right? Shalom. Let's see. Ahaziah, shalom. Right. And shalom to everybody that will tune in, most I willing. All right. So let's kick it off with the book of Matthew, chapter 25. All right, let's kick it off, with the book of Matthew, the 25th chapter. All right, this is Matthew chapter 25 and verse number, let's see. I believe that might be 21. All right, Matthew chapter 25 and it's like you bear with me. I was looking for a precept. Let me see. Lord willing can come back to me. All right, but let's go to Colossians chapter 1. All right, let's go to Colossians chapter 1 and verse number 23. All right, Colossians chapter 1 and verse number 23, it reads, "If ye continue in the faith, grounded and settled, and be not moved away from the hope of the gospel, which ye have heard, and which was preached to every creature, which is under heaven, whereof I am made a minister." Jumping down to verse 26. It's like at 25. It says, "Whereof I am made a minister according to the dispensation of God, which is given to me for you to fulfill the word of God, even a mystery which have been hid from ages and generations, but now is made manifest to his saints." Right? So you have certain knowledge, wisdom, understanding, mysteries that has been hid from old, all right, from ages, centuries, locked up, but is now manifest by the Most High God through his son Yahushua to the saints, all right, ultimately to save our souls from death, all right, to increase our faith in this truth, So when we have these things, we didn't always have these mysteries, certain knowledge of the things that are a certain men. They used to just be in the world, lost, all right, out of order. But guess what? These things are now revealed unto the saints of the Lord. Let me read on. It says, to whom God will make known what is the riches of his glory, of this mystery among the Gentiles, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory. All right. The hope of glory. See if I can put this up. Let's go to Matthew chapter 10. All right. Go to Matthew chapter 10 and verse number 8. All right. Matthew 10 and 8. It reads, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received, freely give. Right? So the Most High told us, as we have freely received, we have to freely give. That's in all things, including knowledge. All right. So we're gonna open up with the first question. All right, from the brother Ahaziah. All right, or sister Ahaziah. Shalom King, I have a question. Would you be able to break down of the serpent in Genesis chapter 3 just for edification? Just seeing people think it's an actual animal. All right, let's go to it. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3. All right. Right. So you have people, Christians, you have people of the world, they think that there's a lot of misconceptions, with Genesis, the 3rd chapter. All right. People think, okay, dang, a snake could talk. Wow. I didn't know that. And certain people, they think, that the serpent, that's literally the spiritual demon Satan. All right. But he shapeshift himself into a snake. All right. People think, there's a lot of things with that. People say the snake had sexual intercourse with Eve. All right. So we have to go into this understanding. We have to break down what is that? What is this really going into? All right. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3. And let's start at verse number 1. It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, have God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? So whenever you breaking something down in the scriptures, or when it comes to this Bible, you must be able to prove everything that you're saying. You have to have precepts. If you don't have precepts going into what you're breaking down, guess what? We can't believe the understanding that you're giving. Let's go to Psalms chapter 118. All right. Let's go to Psalms chapter 118. So and that's not just with Genesis chapter 3 or any chapter in Genesis. That's when you break it down the Bible, period. You must have precepts to prove what you're saying. All right, this Psalms chapter 119 and verse number 104. And it reads, for it says, through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. So through the precepts, you get the understanding of what the Bible is talking about. Because this Bible is written in metaphors, parables, allegories, riddles. And the only way you're going to get the understanding is through the precepts. All right, and the accounts. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 28. All right, let's go to the book of Isaiah, the 28th chapter. All right, it's the book of Isaiah chapter 28 and verse number 10. It says, for precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. So it's going into how you understand the scriptures, how you understand the Bible. Again, precept must be upon precept. You got to go here a little, there a little, all right? But with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak with his people. So the Lord is giving you the understanding on how to break this thing down. So when you're dealing with Genesis chapter 3, it's so many precepts in just the first verse. which we're going to tackle, right? So we're going to read Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1 again. All right, this is Genesis chapter 3 and verse number 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, all right, which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, have God said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? Now, first and foremost, can an actual snake talk? Is that something that's real? All right, because this snake just talked to the woman, which was Eve. Do snakes talk? Do they? And if they do, I wonder what language do they speak? All right, what language was the snake speaking in? That's not what it's going into. When it says this serpent was actually a man. All right, you had multiple people during the time of Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve wasn't the only people on the earth. All right, let's prove that. Let's go to Genesis chapter 5. Right, let's go to Genesis chapter 5 and verse number 3. It's like I'm gonna start at verse 2. Genesis chapter 5 and 2. It says, man and female created he them and blessed them and called their name Adam and the day when they were created. See that? So when man and woman was created, everybody was called Adam during this time. You might hear a certain brother say the Adamites, because everybody was called Adam during this time. So this serpent, this is an actual man. And as we go through the precepts, you're going to see that, and it's going to be planted upon tables. Now it says the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, because you have many beasts. Man, according to the Bible, is personified as beast. Let's prove that. Let's go to Psalms chapter 73. All right, the Most High, he uses things in code word. Just like you might call, you might call somebody a rat. One of your guys that you might grew up with, you might call him a rat. Does that mean he's Mr. Ratburn off of Arthur? All right. Is that what it's going into? Is that what it's talking about? Does that mean he's Stuart Little? No, it just might, guess what? He might have told. All right, he might have, got into a case with him and he told on you. That's what makes him a rat. You have Eve. They call our men dogs. Oh yeah, you just a filthy dog. Why is she called? Is he a literal dog? All right. No. What is going into is that man is acting like a dogs. They do anything, sleep with anything. All right, eat their vomit. A dog is filthy. So by the way the man is conducting himself, that's why she called him a dog. Same thing with a serpent. If I say you're a serpent, you a snake. That means you conniving. You're slippery. All right, you're cunning. All right, let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 73 and verse number 22. All right, it's the book of Psalms, chapter 73 and verse 22. It says, so foolish was I and ignorant. I was as a beast before thee. So David said, so foolish was I and ignorant. I was as a beast before thee. And when we're ignorant, when we're not walking in these laws, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, we're like beasts. All right? We're dumb. We're dumb animals. All right? And the Lord compares us to sheep. That's an animal. That's a beast. Because of how lowly and meek the sheep are. All right? And how easily led astray a sheep could be. That's how the Lord compares the nation of Israel. So when you're dealing with these beasts represent things. Just like when you read the book of Revelation. You read about the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns. You read about a dragon. You read about these different beasts. Those are not literal. It's what to describe something. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Right, let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse number 18. All right. Ecclesiastes 3:18. I said in my heart concerning the estates of the sons of men, that God might manifest them, and that they may see that they themselves are beasts. For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts. Even one thing befalleth them. As the one dieth, so dieth the other. Yea, they all have one breath. So a man have no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity. And King Solomon, he's the wisest man on earth. But guess what? He even said, hey, a man really don't got too much. A man is not really that much above a beast. Because look how we act. We do anything. You got Jake fornicating, Eve fornicating, smoking, partying, living riotous. All right. That's what beasts do, man. So the Lord said, guess what? Man really don't, it's really, man and beast is really the same. All right. And that's how low we become when the Lord created man to be above the beast. All right. So when it says the serpent, that's going into a very cunning man. And you have men in the world like that. And you have men of old, ancient times that was very, very, very subtle, sneaky, conniving, get away with a lot of stuff. Right. I was working with this one Jake probably about a year and a half ago. Hey, I literally caught this man Satan in the flesh. He was too slippery, man. He had that deceiving look on his face. He's seducing all of the women in there, right? Trying to get into their pants. I said, man, this man, this man is too slippery. All right, he's too slithery. You have certain men that's actually like that. And that was like the serpent in the garden. He was a very cunning man. Let's get a precept. Let's go to 2 Samuel. All right, chapter 13. Let's go to the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 13. It says, 2 Samuel 13:2. And Ammon was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin. And Ammon thought it hard for him to do anything to her, right? Because this is his sister. But guess what? He had a spirit of lust on him that made him lust after his own sister. But he's in his head, he's saying, nah, I can't do this, man. This is wrong. All right. Reading on. It says, verse 3, but Ammon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shema, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man, meaning this man was sneaky. He was conniving. As they say in the world, he has a mouthpiece. Through his mouth and his words, maybe he might be eloquent with his speech. All right. Might have had a deceiving look to him. But guess what? Anything that comes out of his mouth is believable. He could get away with a lot of things. All right. Verse 4. And he said unto him, why art thou, being the king's son, lean from day to day? Wilt thou not tell me? And Ammon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. And Jonadab said unto him, lay thee down on thy bed, and make thyself sick. And when thy father cometh to see thee, say unto him, I pray thee, lest my sister Tamar come and give me meat, and dress the meat in my sight, that it may see it and eat it in her hand. So this man coming up with a whole algorithm, a whole scenario, so he could seduce his own sister and lay with her and commit incest and wickedness. So you got men that's out there that's real subtle, man. I mean, we see it all the time. All right, Eve always in the world, they get beguiled by Jake. Might tell you, hey, you look good. I just want to take you out and we can have a good time. And Eve, she just believe in it. She's falling for his looks, saying, wow, it sounds good. You have to watch out for subtle men. You know I'm gonna pay you back. I just really been on hard times, and I'm just going through it. But I will pay you back though. Next, the brother don't pay you back. He's declining all your calls. But you believe him though, because you have certain men that are subtle like that. You have to be aware of the subtle man, because he have many trains. He has many cunning fold and deceits in his mind. All right. So let's go back to Genesis chapter 3. All right. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 3. His intentions is not right. All right. That's why he said in Genesis chapter 3 and 1, it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, have God said, you shall not eat of every tree in the garden? Right? So this man, he's saying, hold on. You got to imagine this. He's coming up to Eve. And you know how Jake is. All right, he's looking around. Hold on. Mosai said we can't eat from this tree. Are you sure? Whole time in his head, he know that the Lord said that. But then he's trying to, this is what you call crafty counsel. And this is one of the biggest crafty counsels that was set up by the nations to take down the chosen Adam. All right, let's get one more precept on that. All right, then we're going to move on to the next question. All right, let's go to Ezekiel. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel. Let's see, chapter 31. This is the biggest crafty counsel of all time. And it worked so perfectly because you see the serpent didn't go to the man. He didn't go to the Adam. He went what? To Eve. This stuff was planned out. All right. This was planned out as a conspiracy from the other nations to take down the chosen Adam. All right. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 31 and verse number, oh, chapter, great. It says, I'm going to start at verse 7. Thus was he fair in his greatness, and the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. Talking about Adam, because Adam, he was the top man in the creation. He had all the dominion, the honor, the glory. It says the cedars in the garden of God could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of God was like unto him in his beauty. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God envied him. See that? So those trees represent different men, chiefly the different nations that were during that time. And they envy Adam. They said, you know what? I don't think he should have all of this power. We have to take him down. We have to get him out of this glory. But what is Adam doing naming all of the animals? I'm not having that. We have to find some way to take this man down. Guess what? They came up with it. They thought about it. So you know what? What we're going to do is, I see he has a woman. We're going to try to trick her. And by default, she could try to trick him. That's how we could take him down. Let's do it. Next thing you know, that's what came, that's what happened in Genesis, the 3rd chapter. All right, let's move on to the next question. From Isaiah, would you also be able to break down Isaiah 60 and 19 and what that is going into? All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 60. All right, let's go to it. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 16 and verse number 19. All right, Isaiah 60 and 19. It says, I'm going to start at verse 18 for context. It says, violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation and thy gates praise. Talking about when we're in the kingdom. This is going into the kingdom connotation. All right. Verse 19. The sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee. But the Lord shall be unto thee of an everlasting light, and thy God thy glory. All right. So what it's going into, it's not saying that it's not going to be any more sun or moon in the kingdom of heaven. What that's saying is now how we depend on the sun for our light, all right, and the moon for our light. Guess what? We're not going to depend on that going into the wisdom, knowledge, understanding of this world, because we're going to have the Lord to be our light. Hamashiach, he's going to be the true light. You can link that up. Let's go to that in Revelation. All right, that's what the sun and moon represents. All right, let's go to Revelation chapter 21 and verse number Revelation chapter 21 and verse number 23. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of God did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. So again, not saying we're not gonna have the sun and the moon, because those ordinances can never depart, or else we would never be a nation. But that sun and that moon, that represents the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All right, which we're gonna prove. Nevertheless, we're gonna have Yahweh Shai, because he's that true light that would never dim out. All right, that would never change. Let's go to Revelation chapter 22, and let's go to verse number 5. Revelation 22 and 5. And there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither the light of the sun, for the Lord giveth them light, and they shall reign forever and ever. All right. Let's get some precepts on the sun and the moon being the wisdom, not understanding. All right. Go to the book of Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 30 and verse number 26. Isaiah chapter 30 and 26, right? It says, moreover, the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold as the light of 7 days, in the day which the Lord bindeth up the breach of his people and healeth the stroke of their wound. So in the day that the Lord held us up from as a nation, that light is going to shine brighter and brighter. Again, that's not literally talking about the sun or the moon. It's going into the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Let's go to Revelation chapter 12. All right. Let's go to Revelation chapter 12 and verse number 1. All right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Now, is this a literal woman? She literally is clothed with the sun and the moon. That's impossible. All right. It's impossible to be clothed literally with the sun and the moon. Again, that's going into the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So the nation of Israel will be clothed with that wisdom. Because that sun is a light. It's a bright light. It's when you read, let me go to Numbers chapter 6. All right. That sunlight represents the Lord shining his face upon us. And when the Lord shines his face upon you, that means, you have a lot of wisdom. And the Lord said, wisdom causes of a man's face to shine. Let's go to Numbers chapter 6 and verse number 25. Numbers chapter 6 and 25. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. See that? And the face of the Lord is brighter than the sun. But the Lord can have that shine upon us. When you go to Daniel, let's go to Daniel chapter 12. All right, let's go to Daniel chapter 12 and verse number 3. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. So the men and women that's wise, they're going to be brighter than the firmament. And the men and women that's turning people to repent, and the Lord said they're going to be shine like the stars of the sky forever and ever. So let's go to the second address. Let me get one more. So when you go through these different precepts on you doing certain things or you having certain knowledge, it's gonna cause your face to shine. And that's literal and as well on a spiritual level. Let's go to second address. All right, let's go to second address, chapter 7 and verse number 55. It says, and that the faces of them which have used abstinence shall shine above the stars, whereas our faces shall be blacker than darkness. So even the men and women in the last days that's practicing abstinence, they're gonna shine above like the stars, just due to their high level of self-control and their discipline from refraining from certain things, in the last days. So that's what that's going into. All right. It's going into the Lord being our light. Next question. Does Acts chapter 9 and 7 and Acts 22 and 9 contradict itself? All right, let's go to it. Let's go to Acts chapter 9 and 7. Now, when you deal with these accounts of Acts 9 and 7, Acts 22 and 9, they're the same account. All right. In Acts 22, Paul is giving a recap of what happened to him in Acts chapter 9. All right. So this Acts, we're going to read Acts 9 and 7. It says, and the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man. All right. I'm going to read that again. And the men which journeyed with him, with Paul, stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man. So when Yahushua called into Saul, he said, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? The men, they heard a voice, but they didn't see anybody. Now, when you go to Acts chapter 22, again, it's the same account. Let's go to Acts 22 and verse number 9. All right, it's the same account, but he's giving a recap. It says, and they that were with me saw indeed the light, and they were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. So in one account, it's saying, well, hold on. They heard a voice, but they didn't see anybody. Then it says, they indeed saw the light and were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. What that's going into, when the Lord directly spoke to Paul, those men didn't hear what the Lord told them. All right. That's what that's going into. When the Lord said, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? Right? They heard it, but they didn't understand what he was saying. They didn't perceive it. So that's what it's going to. And when you look up in a blue letter, all right, of those words of they heard of the voice, it's literally going into how you could hear something, but you could not understand it, if that makes sense. Because when the Lord was talking to Paul on the road to Damascus, in depthly, those men didn't understand. They didn't know what Yahushua said to them directly because it wasn't meant for them to hear that. It was specifically to Paul. All right. But yet they heard it, meaning, they heard something. They just didn't grasp in totality of what the Lord said unto Paul. All right. So it doesn't contradict itself. You want to go into the blue letter as well as you want to read on the account so you can get to understand. So that's for that Acts 9 and 7, Acts 22 and 9. All right, moving on to the next question. Love P.S. Why does Eli fall backward and break his neck in 1 Samuel? Wasn't he a righteous man and a priest? Let's go to it. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 3. All right. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 3. right, so let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 3. Right, so Eli, he was a righteous man. Nevertheless, it's something that Eli didn't quite do. All right, this 1 Samuel chapter 3 and verse number. See what I want. See what I start at. I'm gonna actually start at 1 Samuel chapter 4. I'm gonna get the account first. Right, this 1 Samuel chapter 4 and verse number 15. All right, 1 Samuel 4 and 15. It says, now Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were dim, that he could not see. And the man said unto Eli, I am he that came out of the army, and I fled today out of the army. And he said, what is there done, my son? And the messengers answered and said, Israel is fled before the Philistines. And there have been also a great slaughter among the people, and thy two sons also, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead, and the ark of God is taken. And it came to pass, when he made mention of the ark of God, that he fell off from off the seat backward by the side of the gate, and his neck brake, and he died, for he was an old man and heavy. And he judged Israel 40 years. Now, for the reason why this happened, you have to get the back account or backstory into why even the Lord will have this happening to the righteous. Now, before we go to that account, not saying that Eli was off, but let me just bring this out. Let's go to Psalms chapter 125. All right, this Psalms chapter 125 and verse number 3. It says, for the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, lest the righteous put forth their hands unto iniquity. So the rod, that correction stick of the wicked, it would never rest upon the lot of the righteous, unless the righteous put forth their hand into iniquity. All right. Now let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 3 and verse number. Actually, I'm going to go to 1 Samuel chapter 2. 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse number. All right, let me see. 1 Samuel 2 and 22. All right, it's 1 Samuel chapter 2 and 22. Now Eli was very old and heard all that his sons did unto all Israel, and how they lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he said unto them, why do ye such things? For I hear of your evil dealings by all this people. Nay, my sons, for it is no good report that I hear. Ye make the Lord's people to transgress. So you had Eli, his sons, they was down sleeping with the women that was bringing their burnt offering. Here you have it. You had the righteous daughters of Zion, right? They trying to bring a burnt offering to the Lord, all right, as an offering. They trying to bring it to the Most High. They're trying to repent for their transgressions and their sins. And you got Eli's two sons laying in wait, all right? And they was actually sleeping with those women. That's off. All right, that's evil. Now, when you read 1 Samuel chapter 3 and verse number, I'm going to start at verse 11. And the Lord said unto Samuel, behold, I will do a thing in Israel, at which both the ears of everyone that heareth it shall tingle. In that day will I perform against Eli all things which I have spoken concerning his house. When I began, I will also make an end. For I have told him that I will judge his house forever for the iniquity which he knoweth. because his sons make themselves vow, and he restrained them not. And therefore I have sworn into the house of Eli that iniquity of Eli's house shall not be purged with sacrifice nor offering forever. And Samuel lay until the morning and opened the doors of the house of the Lord, and Samuel feared to shoot Eli this vision. So the reason why on a deeper level that happened, yes, Eli was a righteous man, but his sons was going off, and Eli didn't restrain his sons. He didn't get on them as he should have. All right. He kind of, let it slide. He didn't really touch on it too much. His sons was laying with the women at the tabernacle congregation. He wasn't really sweating. That's off. You got to correct. Hey, the Lord said, let's go to Proverbs chapter 27. Regardless if that's your son, your wife, all right, your child, your mom, your granny, they're going off. You got to rebuke them through the law. You got to get on them, especially if that's your son. Because if you don't really get on your children, that means you don't really care about them. You're not showing love. And at the end of the day, you're not keeping the commandments. All right, the Lord said, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt anywise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Leviticus 19 and 17. So this Proverbs chapter 27 and verse number 5. It says, open rebuke is better than secret love. So he should have, rebuked his children. And that's a part of getting your household in order. All right. David did the same thing. Let's go to 2 Kings. All right. Let's go to 2 Kings. Actually, not 2 Kings. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 1. All right. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 1 and verse number 1. I'm going to start at verse number. This 1 Kings chapter 1 and verse number 1. It says, now King David was old and stricken in years, and they covered him with clothes, but he got no heat. Wherefore his servant said unto him, let there be sought for my lord the king a young virgin, and let her stand before the king, and let her cherish him, and let her lie in thy bosom, that my king may get heat. So they sought for a fair damsel throughout all the coast of Israel, and found Abishag the Shunammite, and brought her to the king. And the damsel was very fair, and cherished the king, and ministered to him, but the king knew her not. And Adonijah, the son of Haggith, exalted himself, saying, I will be king. And he prepared him chariots and horsemen and 50 men to run before him. So his son exalted himself. He said, you know what? I'm not trying to hear what Solomon's talking about. I'm going to be king. It's my thing. And then got him chariots. Right? Reading on, it says, verse 6, and his father had not displeased him at any time. Meaning David didn't really get on him as he should have got on. All right? Saying, why hast thou done so? And he also was a very goodly man, and his mother bare him after Absalom. All right. So David, he did the same thing Eli kind of did. He kind of, why did you do that? All right. Oh, yeah, you did that. Why? Kind of just let it be. All right. But it shall not be so amongst the children of Israel. You got to get on your children. You got to get them the rod of correction. All right. Let me get that precept. We're going to move on to the next question. Let me get that precept in Proverbs chapter 13. Right? This Proverbs 13 and 24. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasten him betimes. So if you spare your rod from your child, and you really hate your son, but if you really love your children, you're gonna chastise them often. All right. Next question from Vernon Brody. If we make it to the kingdom, will we age? Con. All right. Con, let's go to Isaiah chapter 6. Con, you're gonna age. All right. You will age. Now you might not be aging, how you would age on this side. Now man ages too fast. All right. Man ages. We're not gonna go too in depth, but you got people that's 17, 18, they look like 30-year-old men. All right. A full beard on their face. All right. Muscles big, 6'2". All right. 180. And guess what? They look like a straight grown. They look like a straight grown up. And they still in their teens. All right. You got, and you got people brothers that's 34, full gray beard already, as if they were in their 60s. So this man is all jammed up right now. You got Eve now, 14-year-old girls, fully developed, look like grown women in their 30s. Already hit the flower of their age. So we're gonna age, but it's not how it is right now. It's gonna be as it was in the ancient world. All right, we're gonna age slowly. And you might not get a gray beard in the kingdom till you probably about 700 years old. All right. You never know. But this Isaiah chapter 60. This Isaiah chapter 60 and verse number it's like you see what Isaiah chapter 60, and I'm gonna start at verse. See what I want. Kind of sluggy. That's not what I looking for, right? It's not what I'm looking for. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 8. All right. Well, actually, let's go to Isaiah chapter 11. Right. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 11 and verse number 6. All right. It says, reading on Isaiah chapter 6, it's like Isaiah chapter 11 and 6. It says, the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. And a cow and a bear shall feed, and a young one shall lie down, and the lion shall eat straw like ox. Right? So you're going to have children, they're going to be in the kingdom. All right? That's just giving the foundation. So you're going to have little kids leading lions, bears, lambs, tigers. Now when you go to Zechariah, let's go to that Zechariah chapter 8. When you go to the book of Zechariah chapter 8 and verse number 4, it says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for a very age. So you're going to have little kids in the kingdom. Then you're going to have old men, letting you know that you're going to be able to age. Because when you go into the kingdom, let's say a baby is born, that baby is not always going to be a little one. All right. No, how else is that old man going to get there? All right. Unless, he might just come into the kingdom. He might be at a first batch. Nevertheless, you're going to have little ones growing up to be aged, and they're going to have their staff in their hand. Verse 5, and the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, if it be marvelous in the eyes of the remnant of his people in these days, should it also be marvelous in my eyes, saith the Lord of hosts. All right, so let me see if I can pull up this precept in the book of Isaiah. All right, see if I can pull this up in a different translation. Bear with me. All right, so you read Isaiah chapter 65 and 20 in a different translation. All right, in the NIV, it says, never again will there be in it an infant who lives but a few days, or an old man who does not live out his years. The one who dies at 100 will be thought a mere child. The one who fails to reach 100 will be considered a curse. All right, meaning what? You're gonna have it wouldn't be, let's say somebody does die at 100, if it was possible in the kingdom. You would have to be a curse. It wouldn't make it wouldn't, that's not how it's going down. Everybody's gonna live out their 4 years. You're not gonna have children in there and boom, it's a miscarriage. Or the child, it dies at 5. No, those children are gonna grow up. The old man is gonna live out to his full age. All right. But we can move on to the next question. From Love P.S. What tribe had to understand an expert in reading the sun and moon? Issachar. Right, let's go to the book of First Chronicles, chapter 12. Let's go to First Chronicles chapter 12 and verse number 32. All right, First Chronicles 12 and 32. And the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do. The head of them that were 200, and all their brethren were out their commandment. So the children of Issachar, they did, have understanding of the times. And not just with, the tribe of Issachar. You had a lot of tribes. You had the Zebulonites. They had, which are your so-called Mayans. They had understanding. All right. You also have, what's the other tribe? All right. You have Asher as well. So you have Asher, Zebulun, and Issachar. They all had, understanding of the times. All right. You can see that with the Mayans. All right. The so-called Zebulun, like you had a so-called Mayan calendar. All right. When they, they damn near predicted the end of the world. Not, even though that was, I believe they had a movie called it in 2012. They was going into it, which is not far off, from the last days. Nevertheless, you had many different tribes, including the tribe of Issachar, but you had many tribes, that had understanding. I'm trying to see if I can pull this up on the screen. All right. So when you read this in a pull this up. All right, when you do a comparative text, when you go into the NLT, all right, it says from the tribe of Issachar, there were 200 leaders of the tribe with their relatives. All these men understood the signs of the times and the best course for Israel to take. What is the signs of the times? All right, that's dealing. The Most High gives you certain signs of the times. That's chiefly, with the moon. All right, when you see the moon, let's go to Joel. When you see the moon turn red, guess what? That's how you know the Lord is soon on his way back. All right, let's go to Joel chapter 2. All right, let's go to Joel chapter 2 and verse number 31. Right? It's the book of Joel chapter 2 and verse number 31. It says, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. So if the sun is turned into darkness and the moon into blood, those are different signs of the times that the Lord is giving you leading up to his second coming. That's why when you read Matthew chapter 16, let's go to Matthew chapter 16. And the Lord asked the Pharisees, can you not discern the signs of the times? All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 16 and verse number 1. It says, the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, tempting, desire him that he would shew them a sign from heaven. And he said unto them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather. Today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but ye cannot discern the signs of the times. So even Yahweh Shai spoke about this different signs of the times. He said you could speak, you know, when the weather is changing, the different seasons, but you can't see the signs of the times or what time that you're living in. So that's not just dealing with the sun and the moon. That's one part of it. Nevertheless, the signs of the times is a lot of different things. The prophecies, the wickedness increasing. All right, nation rising up against nation. Not only that, the Issacharites, they knew when was the best available time, for the children of Israel to go up at war. All right. So the answer to that is Issachar. It will be the tribe of Issachar, Zebulun, Asher. Move on to the next question. All right. All right. Next question. This from Love Pious. Ecclesiastes 7 and 10 explain. Explain, say not thou, what cause of the former days were better than these. Why? Let's go to it. All right, let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse number 10. Right, it's the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse number 10. It says, say not thou, what is the cause that the former days were better than these? For thou dost not inquire wisely concerning this. Right, so what it's saying is you can't say that the former days are better than these days currently. And that's on many different folds. That's dealing with the ancient times. And now that might be a certain time period in your life. You might be saying, oh yeah, the former days were better. All right. Than the days now. It's on a whole lot of different levels, but you can't say that because it's not a wise saying. It's not that's not something wise that you would say. Oh yeah, the former days were better than these. It's not wise to say that because everything is already predestined to happen. So you saying that you ultimately get on a different level, you're going against the predestination that the Most High has set up through the Spirit. And not only that, I mean, what former days are you talking about? You talking about the former days from the scriptures? Because the Lord said in Matthew, let's go to Matthew 13. The Lord said, many righteous men. Look what time that you're living in. All right. The Lord said, many righteous men have desired to see what you see and have not seen. Right? This is Matthew chapter 13 and verse number 16. It says, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and for your ears, for they hear. For verily I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. See that? So the Lord said, hey, you really saying the former days was better. You really, these days really is better, man. You in the future. All right. Even on another fold, you have a lot of people they reminisce on things in their past life, not in their past life as far as in the ancient world or when they were here before, but you have people they reminisce on certain things they used to do in the past. Oh yeah, I remember those good old days. I was going to Florida and all right, I was going to that university, man. That was like the best time of my life. You can't say that because during that time you was without God, you was without hope, you didn't know who the Lord was, you was breaking his commandments, you was in sin. Oh man, I remember the day when I was a kid. I didn't have to pay any bills, no responsibilities. I didn't have a care in the world. Well, hold on. You was a child then. You're not a child anymore. You're older. It's certain things you didn't even know when you was a child. All right, that you know now. That's beneficial. So guess what? You don't want to say that the former days are better than these, because again, it sums it up in verse 10. That's why it says, because it is not wise, meaning it's not a wise saying. All right, it's just not wise, especially that everything is predestined to happen. All right, that's an old question that we had, to answer. Nevertheless, it's Isaiah 46 and 10. It says, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. All right. Let's move on to the next one. From Ramah, if you push forward and never give up, even though you fall a lot, do you still have a chance? Right? Absolutely. All right. If you push forward and never give up, even though you fall a lot, do you still have a chance? Right? Absolutely. At the end of the day, it's all up according to the mercy, of the Lord. Nevertheless, you're going to fall a lot of times. All right. You falling is a part of not only a part in life, but it's part of it is truth as well. Right. Let's go to Proverbs, the classic, chapter 24. And the Lord said, a just man falleth 7 times. So you're gonna fail. You need to fail. All right, that's a lot of problem with a lot of Israelites, and it's true. They just always, which is nothing wrong, but you got to be realistic here, man. You're gonna fall. You're gonna fail. If you used to do everything in your life to the T correctly, without you just everything is to the T, how would you be able to learn? How would you need mistakes so you could learn from them? All right. And it's a lot of pride. If you was to never ever fall, you was to never go off, never do none of that. You know how prideful a man would be? And he would say, certain men would say, I don't even need the Lord. I never went off. It's what I need the Lord for, man. I'm good on my own. You know how much pride comes with never going off? All right. That's a lot of pride, especially because you man. So you need failing. Failing, it teaches you a lot. A failing, it should give you an increase to go harder through the spirit. All right. Because your works would never be found perfect before the Most High. That's just a fact. There's nothing you could do in this fleshly body to have your works perfect with the Heavenly Father. It's just nothing. All right, you could fast 100 times. You could glue all the count. You could do 1,000 cold cuts. All right, you could pray your ASS off. You could shake the hand all you want. Your works would never be found perfect with the Lord. You will always fall short in this fleshly body. Nevertheless, it's up to you whether you're gonna keep going. A lot of brothers, they find that, man, I will never be perfect. I'm not, you know what? I'm just not gonna make it. Next thing you know, those men fall out. You have to have faith, man. You have to believe that you are going to. Because the Lord is not saving men that think they're not going to be saved. Okay, you think you're not going to be saved? All right, but I'm not saving you. That's how the Lord is operating. The Lord is looking for the men and women. Guess what? Who's going to believe I'm going to save? So let's go to Proverbs chapter 24 and 16. It says, for a just man, right? This is a just man. For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again. And that 7 represents a complete amount of times because you're going to fall more than 7 times. And you might fall 1,000 times, 300 times, 2,000, 1,000,000. It's up to you whether you're going to keep getting up again. It says what? And rise up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. And a lot of the times, the Lord just might keep throwing things your way just to see if the Lord want to see if a lot of men and women is going to give up. All right. That's why you might feel like you're going into the same loop all over and over again. You're dealing with the same demons. You fall into the same demons. The Lord just want to see if you're going to give up. All right. Are you going to give up or are you going to keep enduring? I want to see your endurance. I want to see how long can you keep up with this. All right, let's go to Psalms 37. So you have to take that failure, you have to use that failure as motivation. Again, not all failure is bad. You got to take that failure, got to use it as motivation to go harder. And you have to learn from your mistakes and not repeat them again. Let's go to Psalms chapter 32. It's like 37. Psalms 37 and verse number 23. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Though he fall, see, a good man is going to fall. Thing with this society is, if a good man falls, it's the end of the world. All right, that's how it wasn't like that in the ancient world. It says, though he fall, and it depends on your age as well. If you're older, either way, whatever age you are, you don't know it all. All right. So if you don't know it all, you're going to fall. You're going to fail. It says, though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down. For the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. I have been young and now am old. Yet have I not seen a righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. And it's all according to your spirit, how sincere you are, or if you're the righteous, or if you're the wicked. So absolutely, you still have a chance. You still have to keep going. You still have to give up. You still have to keep fighting. You can never give up. All right, let's go to Sirach. You have to always contend for this truth. I don't care if you went off 1,000 times, man. Now you want to repent and try to offend less. Nevertheless, you can never give up. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 4 and 28. Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. See that? So you got to strive for the truth unto death. So absolutely, you still have a chance. Probably take one more question or so. From the brother Love Pious. All right. It says, is it always profitable to give to the poor? Well, it depends, on the situation, right? Hey, the Lord said it's the thought that counts. Let's go to Psalms, chapter 41. Let's go to Psalms, chapter 41, and verse number 1. It says, blessed is he that considereth the poor. The Lord will deliver him in a time of trouble. So you're blessed if you even consider the poor. Now, just because somebody is poor, that don't mean it's always profitable to give to them. But the poor is the poor. Whether a poor man is on drugs, on crack, all right, he still needs water. He needs water to survive. All right. He needs food. You want to give to the poor. If you know he's on drugs, you obviously don't want to give him drugs. You want to have the discernment of what to give the poor and what not to give them. All right. Let's go to Sirach, chapter 12. And not all poor men are, innocent. Some poor men are evil. Nevertheless, you gotta just tell the Lord, hey Lord, forgive them for they know not what they do. All right, this Sirach chapter 12 and verse number 1. It says, when thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it, so thou shalt be thanked for thy benefits. Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense. And if not from him, yet from the Most High. There can no good to him come that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms. Give to the godly man, and help not a sinner. Do well unto him that is lowly, but give not unto the ungodly. Hold back thy bread, and give it not unto him, lest he overmaster thee thereby, for else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good that thou hast done unto him. So it's certain people you can't give to. All right. Just the Lord said, hold back thy bread in certain instances. Nevertheless, good or evil, if it's a poor man and he needs something, you want to have mercy upon that poor man because of his estate. And whether that's wisdom, you can give a poor man wisdom, an evil poor man wisdom. So you know what? The reason why you might be in that position, brother, because you might not be keeping God's commandments. All right, boom. You just gave him some wisdom. Might give him a water bottle, some clothes. So whether good or evil, you should want to give to the poor of your people. All right. Let me see. From Love Pious, why can't one generate from a tribe, a different family, or another tribe? Right? Well, that's confusion. All right. That's confusion. The Lord is not dealing with, okay, you really from the tribe of Naphtali, but when you come back on the earth in the third or fourth generation, you really from the tribe of Judah. No, that's, you're not switching it up. All right, that's confusion. And the Lord don't change. So if the Lord gave you a tribe, he's not going to switch up that tribe. Because let's say if the Most High gave Israel that ability to switch their tribe, you know how much confusion will it be? All right. All right, it'll be off. You know, Jake already want to switch his. Judah don't want to be Judah. All right, everybody think they Gad. All right, you got brothers want to be Simeon. That's from the tribe of Benjamin. It's a lot of madness. So the Lord said, "Hold on, you cheat. I'm not. The Lord not dealing with all of that confusion. Whatever tribe you from, that's the tribe you got to stay in. That's how it's set up. The lot you can't switch the lot of a man. All right. Let's go to Numbers chapter 36 and verse number. I'm gonna start at 7. Right. Right. Verse number 7. It says, "So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe. For every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers." And that's on a physical level with the inheritance. But also, you can use this precept double to that, which is, right? The Lord is not removing tribe from tribe. You will always be the tribe of whoever your father is, whether you come on the earth or not, whether you come back on the earth or not. Nevertheless, whatever tribe your father is, that's what you will always be. So you can't regenerate from one to another tribe. All right. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 14. All right, this 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse number 40. It says, "Let all things be done decently and in order." I'm going to jump up to verse 33. "For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints." So the Lord is not the author of confusion. All right. He wants all things to be done decently and in order. And it's all according, whatever tribe that you're from, hey, that's how it was from the beginning. That's how the Lord originally created you from the foundation of the earth. So you should want to be satisfied with that. All right. So Lord willing to answer your question. All right. But with that, we giving all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Komadak Yahushua. Right. Lord willing, we answered your question through the Spirit. If we didn't get to your question, Lord willing, next week, right, we will have another one. You can save your question for next time, and we'll tackle them through the Spirit. But with that, again, Lord willing, you was edified. Continue to read, pray, fast, study. Right. Most importantly, beseech the Heavenly Father for His mercy. That we're gonna say Shalom.